Hi, I'm Sonia Weyers. I'm a certified Gestalt therapist. I work with young adults or young people from 16 of age and until whatever, and also couples. And aside from that, I also have programs online where I help people to experience their true happiness who need it. And I'm also an author of two books in English and in French. One is called Happiness Now, A Guided Journey. It's a personal development book. And another one is a memoir of caring for my parents during their final years. It's called The Sundown of Life. So my memoir, The Sundown of Life, I hadn't thought that I would write such a memoir, but I found myself helping my parents out when they both started declining. And my dad was declining physically, my mom was declining mentally. And I'm an only child, and I lived 4 or 5 hour drive away from them. And I found myself dealing with that because it was my place to do so. And in the process of caring for them and helping them out, I let people know. So first it was immediate family, and then it was like a bit broader. And I started emailing more and more people as things continued to unravel. And at some point I got feedback from the people who were reading the emails I was sending about what a difference it had made for them. My emails, the way I wrote things, the way I related my experiences. And one friend told me that my emails had changed her relationship with her parents, who had been deceased for more than 10 years. And that's when I thought that I should really write this up for a larger audience. I've had several different impacts I've observed from this book. But even around a table with friends, chit-chatting, when somebody was asking about my book, everybody started talking about their own experiences with loved ones who they had lost or the process of declining. So one aspect is really facilitating conversations about this topic, which is still pretty taboo. A lot of people live this experience, in a solitary way, really. Other feedback I've had from readers who have felt really seen in their own experience, and so it's been very validating for them that they experienced similar things, and it was good for them to read it. Other people thought it was something that led them to think that you should enjoy every moment in life. So, just inspiration for general life. But I think the end of life, even in those words, is really part of life. And so having the conversation, being open about that process of the end of life and how to make the best of it, because our society tends to put older people, in separate places where we don't have to deal with them, we don't have to think about them, but really to be there, to be right there and experience things with our loved ones who are declining really enhances the experience, rather than add difficulty to it. It enhances the experience of the end of life of our loved ones, or at least that's the experience that I had. Yeah, so I think that the end of life is a really universal experience. Like, everybody is confronted one day or another with the end of life of a loved one, and so to put dampers on that experience is just crazy, because it's cutting us off from an important part of being human. It's really a defining part of being human that our elders leave us, right, to become ourselves the eldest. And so there's something to celebrate there with what we received from them. And it's also a celebration to be able to give to that experience and to be there. And it's almost like a relay. So it's almost like the passing of the baton. The elders, they end up going. That's just the nature of being human. And then for the next generation, to be there with them, to be able to be present with that transition from being our elders to being more frail and then to leaving is just really essential to the quality of being human. And so I think it's important to celebrate both the relationships, but even for the people who, some people sometimes have difficult relationships and it's harder, but to celebrate also the process of being able to be present for that. I think that's important. So, like I said, this is a universal experience to have to experience the declining of our loved ones. And so I would really invite you to think of who your loved ones are in your life and to do what you can now before they decline, to have as much completion as you can in your relationships. But if you find that you have loved ones that are declining and that you could use some support, I invite you, of course, to check out my book, The Sundown of Life. I share all the things that I found that were useful for me, and I hope that they would be useful for you. Thank you very much for your attention. I am humanity. Je suis l'humanité.